to Get Scared Part 3, and as you all remember, if I jump or scream,
the rest of the videos seem to be cell phone clips obtained from someone's daily activities, such as driving in a car or visiting a Starbucks. Most of the videos have a jazz or rock track layered over them, but they're all titled things like Zawan Makes Us Faster, Serve Zawan, and other related things. Another dark and confusing video on this channel is titled Who is Zawan? The contents of the video vaguely explain what can only be understood as some godlike
I'm so afraid to turn my back right now. The last time I scared myself like this was years ago. I couldn't go into the bathroom or my room without having the door open. Like, I would use the bathroom, I would shower, I would brush my teeth. Heck, I would even do my daily dose of vitamin secrets in the freaking bathroom with the door open.
Craigslist tape found. This video comes along with a story from Reddit by user Enter Your Text Here.
By that I mean, like, I just go in the bathroom and ask for your, like,
by
I'm
the
Hulk or something.
Glitch64 reads in early February 2016.
When I listen to the theme music,
story goes that an English teacher bought a batch of Edgar Allan Poe VHS tapes. The seller of the tapes promised that he would have the tapes to him by the 23rd of January. On the 31st, only a few minutes after getting the package at his front door, the teacher receives a phone call from the seller, whose voice was apparently really weird. He asked, "Has it come yet? They're probably there, huh?" The teacher responded, "Who is this?" And the seller simply said, "The tapes, did you get them yet?" He confirmed that he had received the order, but the conversation went on for 5 more minutes, where every time the call would break up, the seller would call back from a new number. When the call finally ended and the teacher went through his tapes, he found that most of them were in normal condition aside from one. It seemed to have been taped over. Most of the content was from old Nickelodeon shows, but there were some pretty unsettling scenes from the movie Cube Zero, where a man's flesh burns off. There's also a recording of the night sky and a short clip from the popular music video Rubber Johnny that was once related to the horror community. Aside from these few creepy things, the teacher said that the most unsettling thing was the vibe he got about the tapes. It's got to be pretty easy to imagine how getting something like this in the mail just after a sketchy phone call can make someone not only nervous but scared as well. Number 5, Local 58 Contingency. In more recent years, plenty of people have come out saying that they basically have a phobia of emergency alert messages. Even if you're not totally terrified of them, seeing one pop up on your TV screen at 3 a.m. is always unnerving, since half the time you don't know what to expect. Take that feeling of uncertainty and apply it to this video. The 3-minute-long video was posted by Chainsaw Suit Original, but was found on 4chan and made more popular by several YouTube videos displaying a collection of creepy things. The video starts out with a nightly schedule for a channel called Local 58. It seems to be a local antenna channel which would be accessible by anyone with a TV in theory. This footage also seems to be very grainy and vintage, possibly from the late 60s. An American flag is sprawled across the screen as the Star-Spangled Banner plays over a message that reads, 3 a.m. end of broadcast day. This seems like a normal end of broadcast message for TV of its time, until we are met with an error screen and a loud, long ringing.
No, I'm only gonna do these things during the day.
A logo eventually pops up that is labeled the U.S.
By the way, I heard about that 5th of November thing. V for Vendetta!
Woo! Lends us some more information. This message is apparently not to be used after November 13th of 1970, meaning that this would have to have been broadcast from before that time. The screen also reads, to be used only in the event of United States complete surrender to insurmountable enemy forces. This leads us to the conclusion that this is an emergency broadcast message in relation to not only a time of war, but a time when the US apparently planned to surrender. From here, the contingency message begins. The following screens are a set of instructions that advise, though they occupy our streets, they will never occupy our spirits. The message leads Americans to believe that what they are about to do is in order to preserve the perfect image of America. This message is allegedly signed by the president, though the name is not legible.
My sister.
The following screens instruct viewers to use whatever method is most available to them to commit suicide, though firearms are most preferred. Furthermore, local law enforcement has been informed to take out anyone who refuses to comply with these instructions. Before killing themselves, viewers are told to take the victory stance, which involves laying in their front yard, face up, feet together. They are also instructed to take care of their children and pets for themselves, to leave no one behind. After this, the station goes back to normal and a message is delivered that the station was hacked and this was a hoax. A pretty horrible hoax that would have led to thousands of dead Americans laying in their front yards. Of course, from viewing the rest of this channel's content, this was more of an art project.
What was that vibration?
But if you're someone easily scared by emergency broadcasts, this video is pretty horrible. And there are several other similar videos concerning Local 58 on the Chainsaw Suit original channel. Number 4, Meat Sleep. This entry is based more around an entire series of videos as opposed to a single one. This channel has caused its audience to be filled with questions, fear, and theories. Some believe that it's a work of fiction like an art project or horror film promo. Others believe it is a secret message from someone being held captive and abused, or messages from the abuser himself. Another theory is that this is part of a reality game. The first video by this channel, the video that gained the most attention, is titled Ingrate, surrounded by symbols. The video is shot in a damp and dark basement. Random trash is thrown across the floor, and there's either a flickering effect happening with the footage, or there's a light that flickers constantly. There's also distorted audio of a voice saying, "You live here, I gave you a home, you're ungrateful." These images give the idea that whoever lives here is living there against their will. Their bed seems to be a wet sleeping bag and there's no bathroom, of course no food, and the conditions are generally unhealthy. There are several videos in this series, and several things that point to what this could be, such as a girl's hand coming from the bottom of the basement door, images of newspaper clippings of missing or abused women being filmed from a distance in parking garages, an ad for a date rape drug, and far-off shots of crime scenes. Coming across something like this with no idea what you're watching can be pretty concerning. It's clearly about kidnapping of some sort, and other videos that show meat being cooked could also suggest a hint of cannibalism. Scare Theater has done a great in-depth analysis of the content of this channel.
That is where I cross the line.
Even with this analysis though, there's still no certain answer as to what is really going on with these videos. There are several theories.
By the way, I apologize about the live streams. I will not be doing them anymore.
Each theory, any of them could be true. It's probably certain that this is not just found footage, as it seems to be edited and published with a clear plan. The message behind the project is a more questionable topic. Is this just an elaborate art project or game? Is this a series published by a victim of abuse? Or is this the work of a serial killer trying to admit to his crimes? Number 3, Blank Room Soup. This video has been pretty popular for quite some time now, making its way through creepypasta forums and debunking channels alike. It's not certain where this was originally posted, but it seems the earliest YouTube upload was January 2014 by a channel named CreepyPaste. The original title for this was blankroomsoup.avi, which of course was eventually shortened as it made its way through the web. The video is a minute and roughly 5 seconds long, and it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect to a point. The video starts with a blank room, full of white walls that are bare from decor, which gives the feel of either a home that isn't lived in, or an interrogation room, office, or hospital of some kind. There's a man sitting at a table in the middle of the camera's view. His eyes are censored and he's eating soup with a large spoon. Pretty much immediately, in the background through a doorway, there's someone in a character costume. The character has a large white head with short hair, 2 big black circles for eyes, no other details, and mitten-shaped hands. The character is also wearing all black. He walks up to a man who is crying and slightly panicking while eating the soup and begins to pat him on the back. The man begins to cry even harder as he eats his soup, nearly hyperventilating. Another identical character comes from off-screen and begins patting the man on the back as well.
I'm hoping this is a hoax. Just trust me, if this is real, you can't blame him for crying.
There are several videos as to what this video is about. The right you have to not constantly question what you're given or ask for more, to not be filled with insecurities when you're perfectly healthy, and so on. The video starts with images of Gray raining, constantly unsure of herself. One night she had a wonderful dream where she felt euphoric and knew that she could see her face again. This portion of the video is pretty innocent, with scenery from a field of wheat as the girl bounds around in a white dress. The only thing haunting about this portion of the video is the deep distorted voice saying, "Everything will find its place, go with the flow."
Everything is going to find its place. Just relax and go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
The girl awakens from her dream and goes on to look in the mirror, only to find that she's hideous and deformed. The image we are met with here is probably one of the most terrifying from the video. Her face seems to have scar tissues as well as open wounds. Certain parts of her face are not where they belong. Her eyes bulge out abnormally, and she seems to be
What kind of horror movie is this? Jesus!
She returns to bed and wishes to never see her face again. According to the story, she luckily never does, but every night she wakes up in a pool of her own vomit. A message then comes across that this could happen to anyone, even to you. There are plenty of images, sounds, and animations that make this clip even more horrifying. So if you'd like to watch it in its entirety, check the link below, or don't, just go with the flow. Number 1, Hampstead cover-up, or Papa Kills Babies. In February 2015, the affluent area of Hampstead, London came under fire after a viral video where 2 children seemed to expose an underground ring of child sex slavery, pedophilia, and murder. The first video to make its round was titled Papa Kills Babies. In this video, 2 children estimated between the ages of 8 and 11 are talking to a male and female behind the camera. The first things they say in the video is that
we decided to stop touching each other and stop touching each other and stop touching ourselves.
What else are you going to stop?
Preparing in case I might jump or scream.
Of course, right off the bat, this video is questionable, inappropriate, and a little confusing. As it goes on, the children explain that they're going to help bring justice to all of the people that have done sex to them. This, of course, is a more PG way of explaining that they were going to bring pedophiles that have raped them to justice. The man behind the camera, possibly a cop or investigator, asks the children who has done sex to them. They go on to list that their father, someone named Papa,
what
teachers,
a wonderful
social
topic.
workers, priests of some kind, and even police officers have either raped or molested them. They go on to explain even more bizarre
don't get mad at me.
aspects of the situation. They
Don't get mad at me.
some
This
sort
is
of church run
this
by
is a part of the
Papa, who
challenge.
sacrifices babies, drinks their blood, keeps their skulls, and dances around them. Apparently, these children are involved in these strange rituals. They explain that they help Papa kill the babies. The way they describe the step-by-step process of murdering these infants is uncanny to the way you'd picture a satanic sacrifice. The story quickly took a turn.
I didn't know this was coming.
Nightmare Fuel. A blog
Oh,
titled
you're not the
Hampstead
freaking boss of
Cover-Up
me.
explains this case in much further detail
You're not the
about how
freaking
the
boss
children
of
have
me.
given information on all of those involved in this cult-like sex ring, and how they were taken from their parents' custody by the state. They were taken under the grounds that they needed to be
You're
questioned,
mean.
as their safety was uncertain. However,
I'm
as
not
stated by
messed
the
up
children
for
in the
doing a
video,
challenge.
social services are in on this sick game, and their mother's efforts
You
to get
act
their
like
children
I
back
knew
have
this
been
was coming.
unsuccessful.
So then
This
why are you
blog
still
also
watching
shares
it?
interviews with the children
Hopefully they
conducted
get a
by a
scare.
child psychologist. After the original video
But
went
probably
viral,
not.
the things explained by these children were exactly the same as in the first video, aside from some details that were pretty more specific.
Alright, I'm finished with this. I'm finished with this. Alright. So like, subscribe, you get the picture, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. And just for the record, Nevaeh, I'm not messed up. You're just a rude, bratty, little...
Stop. No.
Oh, that was right.